Hi folks, this evening we're going to get into the last little bit of rust in the passenger side rear dogleg of Dylan's XK. Once that's all cut out and plated up, the body's pretty much right to then sand back and get ready for epoxy prime and fill. So here we go. Thanks. Okay, so we're going to start by taping up the area that I want to cut because my eyesight is not fantastic and I want something to give me a bit of an edge to go to. So this side compared to the other appears at the moment to be all external rust in the sheet on the outer skin. I suppose we'll find out once we get the outer layer off, but it doesn't appear to be any of the inner wheel tub area at all. So fingers crossed it's nothing like the other side. And is really straightforward. There we go, the light's just died. I'll grab the other one. I'll get a wire brush and a scraper and we'll clean that up and see what it looks like. Alright, we'll see if we can get some of this flaky stuff cleaned up and then get you guys in there and see what the inside of it's like. Okay, so we bring that in here. So a little bit of petting and stuff like that, nothing that's actually physically broken through, and nothing that can't be treated. So that entire inner is nice and solid, and we've even been in through the back inside there and peeled off the body deadener on the back, and there's nothing broken through or etched in there, just a little bit of pitting like that. So the factory seam sealer on the inside is working well, just a bit old and crusty now, so we'll clean that up and redo it like Dylan did on the other side once this one's all plated up. So I will finish cleaning this up, and then down along this bottom edge down here where the outer panel folded in, I've just got to cut that out and clean that up there, but the top face of the sill is all solid. There's just a little bit of ratty stuff there from the outer skin where it folded in originally, and that's got a bit of rust on there, but no holes. Okay, so what we've got here is a product called C10, just a chemical rust converter. We're going to spray it in there to treat down in here where all the panels meet and fold over in the factory spot welds. That there's a lot of tar and seam sealer from when the factory put it together, and over the years it dries out, holds moisture and causes surface rust, which is why there's all the pitting and stuff like that there. So we've taken all of the seam sealer we can reach out and off. So we buffed that, cleaned that up. We're going to spray the rust converter in there, give it a bit of scrub with a bit of a grey Scotch-Brite, and then let that dry. Possibly spray a little bit light coat of fish oil in there, let that dry, and while that's happening then we'll make a paper template up to cut our infill panel in, and we'll weld through prime in there. Once it's all dry, weld through prime the back of the patch panel and tack it in. I do prefer a product called Metal Green. It works really, really well. We used it on the front section of the car. I did that on the entire fairlane of Frank's fairlane that we built a few years ago now. Works really good and lets you store the car in bare metal. Hell, the fairlane sat for nearly 3 or 4 months at points where no paint on it, and it stayed protected and didn't surface rust, didn't flash rust. This stuff not as good. As you can see, it comes through, and when guys in the workshop are leaning on it and touching it, even though you tell them not to, but better than nothing. So give this a bit of a spray. Okay, so now I'll see if I can get you in a bit closer. By using the Scotch-Brite, you can see where it's just got flash rust and surface rust over the years sitting in there. The chemical actually treats it up really nice, cleans it up and brings it up to nice raw steel again. And if we let it just sit there and penetrate for a little while, even though we've wiped that off, it's going to then chemically convert that and treat it and seal it. So that way it'll stop it, basically stop it from spreading. And once it's done that, we can then seal it with the primer. Before we put the primer on, I may actually even give it a light spray of fish oil so it soaks the fish oil into the metal, because you can actually paint over that if it's nice and light and it dries off. And then, yeah, we'll undercoat that. Okay, so we've given that a few minutes to dry off now after we've given that a wipe down. And we concentrated spraying a bit of it down into the seam there after we dug all the seam sealer out. So hopefully it's gotten in around the spot welds and stuff like that. So now we'll just give it a same hit with some fish oil. Again down into that little crevice. Alright, wipe that down. So it's not soaking. Now there is heaps of other different products you can use to spray in there other than fish oil, but I don't know. I've always used Fisherline from the first car I ever bought, my old XR Ute when I was a teenager, and it's always seemed to work well. It's cheap, it's effective, stinks, but easy to retreat after a few years and keep nice and fresh. So now we'll let that tack off and dry off, and then we'll give it a coat of primer. And while we're waiting for that, we'll get in and make the paper template. All right, so what we've got is a piece of floor mat paper. We just taped it up there to hold it for us. And what we're going to do is use our dirty fingers to just gently rub over the area while we hold tension on the paper to give us a bit of a idea of the profile that we want to cut. Get rid of the excess. Because in this case, I want to try and see if out of the one piece, there was a little part here that kicked around into the inner lip of the wheel arch. See if I can allow for a little bit of that in there to fold over and bend, rather than cutting a separate template. So Rightio, let's transfer to the metal and start trimming down. Okay, so we've got our off-cut piece of metal and our paper templates laid out on it. Slightly thicker paper would have been so much easier, like cardstock or something like that, but this is what we had. Alright, we'll get the cut-off wheel and cut that out. Okay, so we're going to use a 4-inch grinder. I don't have a 5 here at the moment, but with the 1mm cut-off disc. Now, biggest thing to remember, don't push it, don't force it, and you're better off having the sparks fly towards you, so that way if something grabs and catches, you're going to have a machine running away from your body, not flying at your face or your body. And when you're going to try to cut a curve, use the tip of the blade. Don't bury the blade into the project and try to turn it, because yes, you are going to crack it, but I've never had a wheel fly apart by cutting a curve, only by doing stupid shit and jamming it into the material when you're not supposed to. So here we go. sander and clean it up. Okay, so let's get this patch in and the hole sealed up. So to cover what we've done, that was the rusty section that we've taken out, and you can see that it's actually on the inside there. Everywhere along the seam there where the multiple panels came together and Ford had that, seam sealer in there, and it held moisture, that's where it's rusted through and where all the pinholes have come through. And then it's sat down and pooled in the bottom, down in this section, and that's where it rotted that section there out. Fortunately on this side it hasn't broken through and rusted through on the inner wheel arch, so we've only got to repair the outer. So, and that panel does have a very slight curve to it, it's not flat. So we don't have a roller, but what I've done over a hammer handle and on the bench, I've tried to put a little bit of a crown in that after I've cut the shape. We've given it a sand with some 80 grit paper and weld through primed the back of it. In here we've wire wheeled, treated, fish oiled, and then weld through primed in there as well. So now we're just going to get that in there, tack it in, and we're done for the night. So much easier if I remember to get the magnets from home. Never mind. Okay, so we've got it roughly tacked in and it's all holding into shape there. So now we'll run through and weld it on. Alright, so your left hand rear dogleg has been plated and we've given it a wash down with some more of that rust treatment, so hopefully it'll hold the surface rust off until we can get it home and get everything stripped and sanded and ready for primer. So the next time you see this one, it should be on a trailer heading out to the other shed to get primed and blocked and start getting some dents out of it. Thanks guys, bye.